Okay, you guys, we are live. Super excited to be here. Let's rock and roll and get going here. For those that this might be the first time listening in, we do these every Tuesday. So Jerry Norton usually is here with us every Tuesday. His wife, they just brought in their 10th child, guys. You heard me right. Not one, not five, not nine. Their 10th child just born a couple days ago. So he won't be able to make it with us this week, but we are still excited because we're going to be here delivering value. And tonight's topic, I want you to really think about this. One of the biggest questions I always get as a mentor, as a coach, and just talking real estate in general is, but wait, what about the competition? Like, oh man, where is it? Where I'm at, there's so much competition. Like, should I wholesale somewhere else? And tonight, we really want to squash that. Today, we have Brett McCollum, and he is from Gainesville, Florida. And I've known Brett now for many years in this business, and he continues to pump out deals. So I'm excited to learn about a recent deal that he did, but more importantly, how he's able to beat his competition. And normally I hate the word competition. Brett, you're probably like, Cody, but you don't even use the word competition. But I hear that word so much that I have to use it. But really, I try not to even think of competition. I look at it as abundant mindset. Like, there's so many deals out there. We all can go get deals. And so we're going to just break it down, though. What are some of these unique characteristics? What are some of these unique negotiation skills? What are some of the things that we're doing in our businesses, our wholesaling business, so that we indeed, if you want to call it, beat your competition so that you can get more deals? So I'm excited for tonight. This is going to be great. As you know, guys, if you have any questions at all, this is a live Q&A. So I want you bringing your questions. Bring your best questions. Brett's going to be answering them. I'm going to be answering them, and we're here for you. So let's get going. So Brett, give us a little scoop already. Give us a little background, who you are, and what got you into wholesaling in the first place.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, by the way. I appreciate it. Sorry you guys had to settle for me instead of Jerry.
Come on now. No, Jerry's usually just co-hosting with me. With me. So he usually would be on with you, and we would both be interviewing you. But I will tell you guys, we're already got some people chiming in. Hello from Michigan. Guys, give us a shout out where you're coming in from tonight. We want to know where you're coming from. So please comment where you're coming from. We'll put you up here so people can recognize where we're getting some audience from tonight. Okay, but Brett, tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend.
Yeah. So my name's Brett McCollum, as you said. I am from. I think we're frozen. Sorry. There we go. I'm from Gainesville, Florida. Home of the Gators. Hence my Gator gear. Got a rep today, guys. I've been wholesaling now a little over closing in my fourth year here. And I got into wholesaling. I was a marketing business development manager in a previous life. It seems like a lifetime ago now. And this was one of those things where we were having our second child and looking at, like, my wife was like, do we stay home? Do I not stay home? Take care of the kids. Like, what does that situation look like? Because nursery, daycare costs, like, it's another mortgage, like, we just weren't sure, like, it was one of those, like, man, we didn't know what to do. So the short of it is, I started looking at how to, supplement my income. And I found I'll just say who it is. Everybody knows him. I found a Sean Terry Facebook ad that he put out there, retargeted from some of my searching I've been doing. Watched it. It was like a 10-minute long. It wasn't very long. It was like 10 minutes. And it was like 10 minutes talking directly to my soul. Right. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And I kid you not, this is the story that everybody's going to get jealous of. But it's the truth. It is what it is. That I watched it I'll never forget. I watched it on Tuesday. I knew, and I'm in Gainesville. My job was taking me into other cities at the time, also Jacksonville. And I knew I was going to Jacksonville that Friday, and I saw a for sale by owner on Zillow, randomly called it on Thursday. So watched it Tuesday. On Thursday, I call it. I didn't know what I was doing. Had no idea what I was doing. And they said, sure, you can meet me on Friday. So on my lunch break, run over there, met them. Did not have a contract or anything. I had nothing, just talking to the guy. Anyway, we agreed to a price. And then I was like, oh shoot, now what? Because I didn't have any idea what to do, right? So I called up, I started calling around. I found somebody that could meet me. He's like, I'm a half hour away. So I was like, I'll try to keep this guy around for a half hour. So this buddy of mine helped me. He mentored me through my first 3 or 4 deals. Meets me out there at the property with a contract, walks me through the deal. We JV'd it because he really taught me a lot on it. And I mean, of course I'm JVing that deal with the guy, right? You know, and I didn't even know what a JV was either. I was like, what does JV mean? I don't know. Junior varsity, I don't know, right? Like, I have no idea. So anyway, so 1 call, 1 appointment, 1 contract, and then we sold it 3 weeks later for, it was a $10,000 deal.
Wow.
And it was like, whoa. You know what I mean? It was like,
this doesn't happen.
No.
Like, I almost feel bad that you shared the story. Because
that's how I got into it, though.
Wait a second. I've been calling for 100 hours and I still don't have a deal. So
that was deal 1. Ask me how long it took me to get to deal 2, though.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, it was another 4 months. So because I didn't know anything. Long and short, I did not have mentorship. I did not have guidance. I didn't have direction. I didn't have anything.
Yep.
Got through like a few deals, and then I said, found the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, right? Met you guys. The rest is history, and then I went from doing, I think I did 4 deals coming into the Wholesaling Inc. And then within 3 months, I did 9 after joining. Yeah. It was like, bam, it was just, you said something you won't remember this because it was too long ago and you talked to too many people, but when you have a moment in time that directs your whole future, you remember that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. One of the things you said to me was like, hey, you're doing all this right here. Like you have the sniper approach. You could shoot the shotgun shells and it spread. Like, I need you to be a sniper. And it was that one comment.
Like a coach call, or is this in Orlando at the event?
It was the initial coaching call to join the Wholesaling Inc. program. Okay. On that call, I didn't even get in. And I did that same day, but I wasn't even in yet. And on that day, that's when you hit me with that. And I was like, oh, and then 9 deals over the next 3 months, it was like, whoa.
Solid.
So that was
solid.
That was kind of how I got my start. And it's not, there was a lot of roller coasters even after that too, because of my own stupidity, not that, that is call it what it is. But yeah, that's how I got into it. It really just came as I'm not a natural born entrepreneur. I wasn't like, the kid selling, lemonade at a lemonade stand, and turning profits. That was never me. I stumbled into wholesaling because I needed to supplement my income for my family just to take care of them.
And are you doing it now full time?
Yeah. Yeah. And so it took me 18 months from the start of wholesaling to quit my 9 to 5. It took about 18 months. And we actually did a podcast, you and I, on that too, on that episode, where we talked about that. But yeah, man, and that's been now 2 years ago. So I've been, 2 years full-time wholesaling, and there's this history, like I said.
Well, this will be answered throughout this. So we got a Facebook user here that says, when others are calling, texting, and doing postcards, how do you stand out? And this is from a guy named Matt in Dallas, Texas. Here's what's exciting. We're going to be breaking this down today in this episode. We're going to be breaking down some of these gold nuggets that are going to answer exactly that. So hang tight with us. Stick with us till the end. We're definitely going to be answering this. You're going to love it.
Great answer for that one too. I can't wait to answer it.
Oh yeah. This is going to be fantastic. So let's get going and let's start breaking down. So guys, we're going to get right to the meat and potatoes of this. This is how, if you're going to be spending time, I shouldn't say the wisest. Some of the wisest counsel I've ever received around meetings, at least. So something like this, where you come, you're breaking away from whether work or you're breaking away from family time. Like, there's so many cool things you could be doing, and some things sometimes even better than being here. I first and foremost want to thank you for being here. But I will tell you guys, it takes a good meeting to beat no meeting at all. Meaning, if we're going to do this, our whole entire push tonight is we're going to bring value. We're not going to mess with your time. We're not going to make you wish, I wish I would have done something else. We're going to bring it tonight. We're going to make sure you walk away from this inspired, motivated, and ready to keep moving forward and do deals wholesaling real estate. So that is my promise to you guys. So stick with us because we're gonna break this down and we're gonna have live Q&A. So as you have questions, please keep chiming in. We're gonna bring those up and we're gonna answer them so that you get real-time value specific to you as well. So Brett, let's rock and roll. Guys, bring out a piece of paper, bring out a pen, and get ready to jot down. There's going to be gold nuggets shared tonight. I can promise you that. The value is making sure you jot it down and then act upon those gold nuggets tomorrow. Like, do not waste any time. Act upon them. So let's break down this deal that we're going to be talking about and some of the key things that allowed you to outperform your competition. So let's start right from the beginning. Normally, you need some kind of list to market to. What list were you marketing to?
Probate.
Probate, guys. So give me a little skinny. What's probate?
So probate is a lot of times people think it's a dirty word in real estate because they think it's too complicated and too messy. So what probate basically is you've got and this is loosely an example. It's not always this format. You've got mom and dad. They owned a house on 123 Main Street. They passed away, and that property was left to their kids, but it's still in mom and dad's name on title. So after that happens, Cody, you can't just buy the house without a court ordering it to the kids or to the heirs or whoever. Sometimes there's a will. Sometimes there's no will. And if there's it's a process on either way. It just depends on the situation. So let's use the example. There is a will, and Cody, you get the property willed to you just because it's at least in Florida. I'm only speaking from how Florida law works from the way my attorneys have advised me. I just make that caveat because I don't know where people are listening from. It could change state to state a little bit, but for here, if it's on a will and you're named the heir to the property here in Florida, you don't just get to keep it just doesn't go to your name. It has to still go through the probate process through the court. The court then goes, does their thing, and then they say, okay, Cody Hoffman, you are now the, you hold the title to the property, right? And a judge has to appoint you. So that's the skinny on probate. It's obviously, it's legal, so it's a lot more complex than that from time to time, but that's the loose basics of probate.
So tell me this, Greg, because here's a good point that you bring up so that people can start to understand. Some leads, like some of the leads you work with, it could be they're just going through divorce. And so it's really like cookie cutter, meaning you go there, you can put a home under contract and you can move forward. With tax delinquent, it's still cookie cutter. You can still put a home under contract and move forward. Now with probate, I think sometimes there's individuals that get a little bit timid, maybe a little bit scared about this lead source thinking, but it's not so cookie cutter. There's a little bit more process. There's a little bit more work to do. So if someone's died, but they're on title and you're talking to their heir, their children, but it's like they really can't sign a contract because they're not on title yet. Are you catching them after they're on title? Are you catching them before they're on title?
I'm catching them before, actually.
Okay. So what's the workaround? So when they want to go with you, they're like, Brett, I think this is fantastic. Can they sign that contract?
Right. So, if I fell into same thing with how I got into wholesaling. I fell into doing probate deals too. It's just a natural byproduct of marketing to certain lists. They just started to come up and happen more. And then I said, you know what? This is happening more and more. I probably should learn about this so that I can get better at it. Right. So what I've come to find is okay, let's use the example that we just used. Mom and dad died. Cody, it's supposed to come to you, but Cody, guess what? I do know this. You have a brother. Actually, I don't know if you have any other siblings, but I know you have a brother.
Sister as well.
Okay, there you go. So this is good. Let's use your family as the example here. Okay, I'm talking to Cody. You're the seller. Okay, that's me from my marketing campaign that I put out there. Okay, and it's just all in the questions that you ask up front. For me, that's how I found the most success. If I find out that, mom and dad have died, this, that, the other, you can't just be like, well, give me your property. You've got to be a lot more sincere, have a lot more, you just got to be able to connect a lot closer and get them to trust you a lot faster and just builds a lot of that connection. And I say, look, this is something that we specialize in inside of our business. It's complicated, but we're here to help you out. We're going to hold your hand through the whole process, and we're going to make this as easy as possible for you. And then ask them the question, how much do you know about this process? And then I shut up and I make them tell me nothing. I don't know anything. Right. And I'll say, look, take everything that I tell you today. And if you feel so inclined, speak to an attorney, make sure that I'm not lying to you, this, that, the other. Right. But this is the works. Cody, I need you to sign the contract, but I also need your brother and your sister to sign it too, because legally in our state of Florida here, they all three of you have to be on the contract until a court appoints you as an executor of the estate. And a lot of time, or we can just send it straight to our attorney and then wait. But I'm going to need, and then I do something like on my end to kind of cloud title so that nobody else can buy it around me, except, that kind of stuff. That's another thing altogether. But like, we lead with that first and saying, hey, we're going to hold your hand through it. Now, I've developed a really good relationship with a couple of probate attorneys here, namely one that I go to every time because he works with investors. He gets what we're doing, that whole process. That's a huge marketing piece in and of itself, is having the right people on your team. I know that we're not talking about that right now, but
this is killer. Great stuff.
And that, so that I have the confidence to say, I know that when I do this, it's going to be okay. Right. It's like, when you're wholesaling, you don't have a buyer, right? Everybody's done this before. We've gotten a deal under contract, but you don't know who you're going to sell it to because you don't have any buyers. And you're like wishing and hoping and praying that this deal closes. What happens if it doesn't close? Then you got to go back to the seller and say, I can't do it. Right. It's awkward. Same thing with probate is if you don't know what to do or who to talk to or what, I don't have an attorney to send it to, you need to have the right team of people in place in order for this to go well. So with me on this particular deal, that's what we did is we said, hey, we know how to do this. We're the experts on this, and that's how we, got through it. But I don't know. I'm talking in circles a little bit. I apologize.
It's mostly great dialogue to get going because I want people to understand probate. And a lot of people do this. So when I say ask that question, like some people are timid, some people are, but most people, if they know that there's another lead source out there, simply probate, you can work through it. It's not impossible. And it's something that if you're going to get into it, the more you know, the more you stand out. So notice how we're talking about the topic tonight is how to outperform your competition. Well, this is already some gold nuggets that if I were you, I would be jotting down right now. And that is know the process of probate. But he already shared something that's golden. And that is know someone that you can do work with, that you can refer business to, saying, hey, this person is going to be going through process. I told them I was going to walk them through it. And so I wanted to send them over to you so you can start going through it with them.
What, Cody, I should say this. Sure. I should jump in before you get that far on that, because in probate and tax delinquent sales and foreclosures and pre-foreclosure, and all of those things, it's all a process like you're talking about. You don't have to be the expert in any one of those things. You just have to know who is. So book came out last year, it's been preached for a while, but like from Dan Sullivan, ask the question who, not how, right? Probably that everybody should write this down too. I'm not sure I'm allowed to tell people what to do here, but I'm going to tell them what to do on this one. Check the book. It's the best book I read all of last year. By a mile. It's phenomenal. It will change your life completely.
And what was that? Anything, Brett? Your mic literally cut out when you were going to say it. So you're like, I probably shouldn't tell him. So I'm going to tell him. And all of a sudden it cut out. And I was like, oh, this is so perfect.
No. Can you hear me now? Is this good? Are we good? Okay. Sorry about that. The book is Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. And everybody, it's the best book I read in all of 2020. It will change your life. It changed mine. Again, you don't have to be the expert. You have to know who is.
That's right. And connect. Be the connector. Be the person that connects. So you get this lead from a probate list. What marketing channel are you used to get your message out to them?
This one was direct mail.
Okay. So guys, I love this. Direct mail is not dead. I hear this all the time. It's still 2021. And I've heard it for the last 4 years. And we still send out a lot of direct mail. So I love that this came from direct mail. So you send out what? A postcard, a letter, both? What does that look like?
So my probate campaign is a little bit different than my typical mail. This one was a letter. And and the mail piece said something to the effect of like, hey, my name's Brett McCullum. My wife and I are looking for some properties. We happen to see that this was in, and then just go through it a little bit. We happen to specialize in probates, blah, 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 blah. Please call, da, 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 then call me. Right. And it was just more like a family, relational that way, because you're talking to somebody that may have lost a loved one, and that could be a sensitive topic. So if I come at it with a 35-cent postcard that says, my name is Brett McCullum, looking to buy a few properties this month, call me today, right? It's like a little more insensitive. So I like that one with the letter. And it generates a massive response rate. It's
awesome.
You can't miss. Yeah.
So you have a great way of reaching out to him. You do it through mail, send out a nice letter that gets a good response rate. Mm-hmm. And what did it sound like when you're on the phone with them? Did it sound like there's going to be did you know up front there was going to be other people involved? Did they tell you, hey, I've received a ton of other postcards, or I've received a ton of phone calls? Did you know that right out of the gate that you were going to be
He told me he was. Yeah.
Other people?
Yeah, he told me, he goes, I'm calling a few people right now, and we're going to get them out there, and we're going to just see what I can do, highest and best. And I'm like, sounds great. When can I meet you?
Yeah. Here's a guy saying, Brett is the man, by the way. So here we get ready, guys. He's going to drop some gold going forward right here. So they tell you, it's almost like a little, not threat, but they just tell you, hey, I'm going to get multiple people out here. I'm going to be calling a lot of people. What allowed you to keep your composure and keep going forward saying, yeah, that's just part of the game? Guys, I love when people say that, because now I just look at it as like, oh, this is fantastic. Then all this is a relationship game. All I got to do is just be the closest person, be the relationship guy, be the guy that just becomes their best friend, because people do business with people they trust. That's all I got to focus on. So I love when people tell me there's other individuals that are involved, because it makes me not focus about the home or anything else and just simply on the relationship, how to get the closest relationship. So what were some of those things you did to stand out, to have that authority, or to be a step ahead of your so-called competition?
Sure. This is it's a great question. So you kind of alluded to it before, already. There's a book called The Speed of Trust. I don't know if anybody's heard of that one. Also, Stephen Covey. And the basic premise is how quickly can you get somebody to trust you? And because you just hit the nail on the head, people do business with people they trust. Now, I've been hearing a lot of marketers out there recently saying it's not about trust, it's about, service and about what you're doing and solving problems. And that's true. But if I've got 5 people out there to solve my problem, offering me a solution, are they choosing me?
Yeah.
Right. So we quickly inside of our business, we quickly, we try to identify the most common ground we can up front. And 99% of the time, it has nothing to do with the house, right? It's just about who are you as a person? Just exploratory questions about their life. I'll see something inside of the house that jogs oh, did you play sports? Oh, did you do? I'm being very vague here. Yeah. And we exploratory questions about them as a person. And then when I can become a real person in front of them as well, not just some guy from a postcard, not just some guy from a letter, and I can become hey, he's a real dude too. Wait a second, he's got only 2. Wait a second, he's got, when I become real to them, that trust barrier just goes like this.
100%.
100%. And then I'm going to give this one away. This is give right here. This line. I don't know why it works, but it is gold. And I promise you, it will work for you just like it works for me. Cody, I'm going to ask you a question. It seems like, I know we haven't known each other for a very long time, and it's hard to trust somebody you don't know, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, what? Yeah, it is. But it's so funny. The psychology that comes right behind that is, well, now I trust them. It's like, I just called out the elephant in the room. It's like, I know you haven't known me for a second. It's hard to trust somebody you've never met.
So say that question again. Let's hear it again.
Yeah, okay, Cody, I know we haven't known each other for a second. We've only been on this call for 15, 20 minutes. And it's really going to be hard to trust somebody you've never met before, or very rarely talked to. It's hard to trust somebody that you've just met, isn't it?
That is a fantastic question. Fantastic question. Where did you learn that question?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
It's a great question, though. That is a fantastic question. I love the fact that you're saying address the elephant. Guys, here's the thing. Not your competition out there, just so you guys know, your competition is not asking the right questions. Your quality of life, your quality of deals, your quality of your business, your quality of your relationship is founded upon the quality of your questions. That's the truth of it. And so when we hear some of these great books he's already sharing, the Who Not How, or any of these books by Stephen R. Covey, right? The Speed of Trust. Listen to how some of these things that they always share. You'll hear this from the greats that say, seek to understand before being understood. Now, guys, it's not saying that you should never be understood. It's just, you got to put them in order. You got to seek to understand these individuals before being understood, because there is a point, there's a time and a place for you to also be understood, so that you can say, okay, if I understand this right, you're wanting me to do this. And so now you're helping them seek to be understood, like, so that you can be understood. And so now they're starting to listen to you, but people don't care about what you have to say until they know you care about them. This is the beginning. And I love these questions. This is fantastic. This is what gets you more deals. This is what puts you ahead of your competition. And the one thing I love, guys, that I always will throw in there is this solution-based versus the benefit-based. And sometimes we use this word interchangeable, benefit, solution. They sound like the same word. They're just spelled different, said different, but man, they mean the same thing. Let me tell you a different real time. Benefit-based. This is what Charlie Brown's mom sounds like, right? Like womp, 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 right? And you don't hear anything. It's clutter. That's what your competition's doing, is they're selling the benefit versus being the solution. They're like, hey, here's the reason why you want to work with me, Brett, is because I can buy your home as is. I can close on the date that you want to close. I can do this and buy it as is, and there will be no closing costs. Brett, there's no real estate fees. Like, this is why you want to go with me. And you're selling commission, Brett, this benefit of why you should go with them. Guys, we gotta kill the benefit. Your competition, that's what 99% of the people are doing. How can you differentiate yourself? Very easy. Be the solution-based. As Brett starts to unfold in his conversation saying, gosh, I don't know, like, the one thing that's tough right now is I don't know if I have the money to fix up my home, fix up my parents' home. And so I don't know. Like, I sometimes sit there and think, do I need to fix this up to sell it? And then what I do is, instead of a benefit, the benefit's, oh, no, we buy it as is. You'd be a solution, and that's this. So, Brett, if I understand you right, you're seeking to understand. If I understand you right, if I'm able to buy this home as is, would that be something that would be of help if I'm able to do something like that? And now you're just presenting a solution in a question format. And now they're like, man, you mean to tell me you'd buy my home as is? Well, that's a good question. I think it's good to note that that could be something that makes sense. So I'm going to jot that down. And my hope here is that we can figure out if there is a way to do that. So yes, let's literally think of all solutions right now. And then when they talk about, man, I just don't have any money to close, instead of being a benefit, oh man, well, I'll pay for all your closing costs and there's going to be no realtor fees. It's so, Brett,
right.
If I'm able to cover your closing cost, if that's something that I can figure out how to work into this, is that something that would help you during this? And they're like, yes, like that, you're saying you would be willing to do that? Well, again, we'll figure this out. We'll try to put this all together, but it's worth noting that could be of help, and we'll figure out if there's a way to put it in there. And so you note it down in your notebook again, right? That's the difference between solution selling and benefit selling. Your competition is benefit selling, and they sound like Charlie Brown's mom, and it's just chatter. You've got to make sure you're taking the time to just listen and then see if I was able to do that. Would that help? And you're being the solution, if that makes sense. I love this. Right. Look at this. Be the solution. Let's see. Oh, someone wants this in the chat. I'll go in there afterwards. Maybe Brett. I'll have him go in afterwards in the Facebook chat and type in your question about the trust question. I think that's fantastic. But we've got people that are chiming in right here. Great stuff. They're already liking it so far. So let's go back into this deal for a minute. Guys, if you have questions, please ask them. We'll add that to the chat after this live stream. So Brett, you talk to these people, you create this awesome rapport. When you go, did you do any kind of negotiation over the phone, or do you like to do your negotiation in person? And if so, how soon from the first phone call did you meet with them?
So I personally, I prefer to meet people. I like seeing their eyes. I like them to see my eyes. I like being a real person, a real figure. We have a common, a mutual friend, Brian Tripp. Brian's famous line is real estate is live and it's local, right? He said that from the stage in Asheville. At that event. Yep. Yeah. And he said real estate is live and real estate is local. One of those things, like little things like that stick with you, right? I mean, do we close over the phone? Yes. Do I do it, virtually? Yes, I do. When the time calls for it.
Yeah.
But people want to do this with people they trust. And for me, it's rarely, just some big box service. It's somebody that can actually like get into the weeds with them and get into real life with them. Yeah. So that's my personal take. I know this past year, 2020, really put a wrench into a lot of it for a lot of people. So we give them options of, hey, we can do it in person or we can do it virtually, whatever you're most comfortable with. And I put that into their court. So because not everybody looks at the world the way I look at it. And that's not for me to do. That's not for me to decide how they view the world. So I give them the option on that. But my preference is in person. I found that I get better deals that way. I found that, and by better deals, I mean deeper deals, Yeah. I mean,
if you increase your odds of getting the deal, I think the bigger elephant to address is when you're live, you're also deepening the opportunity or the chance that you're going to get the deal versus the person that's not willing to go out there live. I tell people all the time, if a virtual wholesaler's in Utah, there's a good chance you're going to lose it to me because I'm going to go face-to-face and they get to go meet face-to-face with me or my team. And there's just something about a physical presence from someone and then backed by the feeling that's reciprocated that you're there.
You're a real person. You're a real person to them now. And you took down that wall, Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's my preference.
Okay. So you love to go face-to-face if a time calls, and we get that. There's times where it's like a deal that's not even in a place that we can go drive down there anytime soon. So it's like, yeah, let's talk over the phone, right? I love that. So you talk to these individuals. How soon after you have this initial phone call were you face-to-face with them?
So in my business, anyway, I have a leads manager that takes our inbound leads and qualifies them through. Okay. Yep. And if depending on how the qualification goes is dependent upon where the next step is. If it's motivated seller, we need to get out there right away. He pulls my calendar up and finds the nearest and earliest availability. If it's like it's a contract right now, we need to get out there. I'm moving everything off of my calendar to go to get there or have somebody else get there. Right. Yeah. To have that contract in place.
Yep.
Because this too, time kills deals. And right now is the time that they've decided they want to do business. It may not be tomorrow. So we act quickly, immediately, and in the moment. There's a lot of psychology as to why that is. We don't have to talk about that.
A gold nugget I want to share, guys. Repeat. He said, time kills all deal. Jot that down. This is another way when people say, how do you outperform your competition? It's urgency. It's treating these leads with respect and striking the iron while the iron's hot. You can't let it cool off. You can't let it be, well, I'll try and get there by Friday. No, you move heaven and earth and you change your calendar. If someone's ready to go, you get out there and you got to figure it out on how to get out there. So that's already crucial. Time kills all deals. That is so good. Keep going.
If you can't get out there, because we all have crazy life schedules. What's funny about motivated sellers is they're a different type of seller than, you or me walking into, the Nike store and buying, a shirt and a salesman can help you today. Like they're just a different type of seller, right? They're not acting the same as you and me, and they never will. We can't treat them like they will. So if we treat them with love and respect, of course, but I don't mean that like you take advantage. I'm just saying we can't treat them the same way as like back to next week to buy that shirt. You know what I mean? Right. Like you can't treat them the same. So if you can't make it on that appointment and it is like, it's a deal right now, we need to get out there, then I'll just go ahead and just, you know what, we have electronic signature now. And what's funny is about motivated sellers, they love to be empowered. So if I empower you, Cody, you know what, I believe I can make this work for us. I think that this is, we can solve this problem, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. I need you to do something though. I need you to take some pictures of the house for me. And if you could shoot like a 30-second video, walk around and show me each room and send it to me. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. That's okay. Once you get it done, call me and we'll walk you through it. Yeah. It's really, really incredibly rare where that doesn't happen, where they won't do it. So at that point, I'll have the contract already written up. I already kind of have an idea, a ballpark of what I want to offer anyway. That's just getting me what I need to validate, no, I actually need to knock that purchase price down a little bit because of some extra costs that we didn't factor into the conversation, and then we can start the process that way. So I love it in person, but if I can't make it for some reason and that's a deal, you better believe I'm still sending a contract out right now. Yeah. I'm just doing it. I don't need, and if you've done some deals, you don't need to, other things, you don't have to see them. It's a formality really to see that, it's more about the relationship side of it, not about the house anyway.
100%. So did you go out and meet them face to face on this particular one?
I did.
So meet with them face to face. Did you have all necessary people on that appointment, or did you only meet with what would be the executor of the will or executor of the trust, or did you make sure all decision makers were there? What does that look like for you when you're prepping for this?
This particular probate was an easier probate. It was just the one heir. It was simple. It didn't. Yeah, and that was I wish I had. I mean, I have juicier stories, but this one's not as juicy that way. This is just a simple one heir.
Good to note for individuals that if you're going to be going on an appointment, I asked that, and this is not the case for this particular lead, but if I were talking about another deal that Brett had done, and there were 3 people that are decision makers, I bet you Brett would have also said, yes, I go on the appointment when the 3 of them can be there, because that's the crucial thing. And so this is, again, yet another gold nugget. This is yet another needle mover to outperform your competition. Is they'll just go out. They'll just go out because, oh man, this sounds great. And then they find out, I like this. Thanks for coming by, Cody, but I got to run this by my brother and sister. And you're like, no, because you didn't ask the right questions.
Well, and then you're taking the credibility too. Yeah, you're taking your credibility away when that happens. Like, I don't know what to, all your credibility is out the door.
That's right.
And then I'm going to come in and get the deal when you screw up. So
there's not any one thing, by the way, that helps you beat the competition. It's a consistent effort of every one of these things that we're talking about. It's how you're talking on the phone and building rapport. It's asking the tough questions. It's being the authority saying, hey, this can be a sticky situation, but my goal is I'm going to walk you through this hand by hand. Like, I'm going to hold your hand through this whole process. I've got an awesome team member. It's getting out there with all of the decision makers, not just one. Like, these are the little things. So it's not any one big thing that me or Brett are doing. It's a collaboration of all these small and simple things that majority of the people will not do. And that's the difference.
You're going to mess up in the beginning too, though, right? Like I did lots of times.
Sure.
Still do.
Sure.
So I mean, how do I say this right? Fall on the sword when you do mess up, right? Own it and just say, Cody, you know what? I messed up, man. I thought I had the answers. I thought I had all the pieces to the puzzle figured out, and I didn't. And that's on me. You called me to help you, and I messed up, and I'm sorry, man. Do you know how many people are forgiving to like we want to make out like
someone like that? Yes. When you try to hide it, that's when they get ticked off.
Well, correct.
Just be straight with me. And you're like, well, I mean, I tried, but I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't get this document back from you. And they start to like blame it on the actual seller. It's like, that is the worst direction you can go. Hey, you know what? This one's on me. I thought I'd have that answer to you by today, but I didn't get that. And you know what? That's on me. So I'm going to spend the next hour to figure out this answer for you.
Yeah.
Love
And
it.
that, yeah, I mean, just owning it, you know, and then when you do that, people are, like I said, man, they're just so forgiving and they're going to give you another shot. I mean, again, ask me how I know. I've screwed up so many times. Like that's how I know. Because I be a truth teller, be a truth seeker. That's a common phrase in the wholesaling. If you're in the tribe, you've heard that many times. Be a truth teller, be a truth seeker, and just
Love it.
good or bad, you know.
Love it. So you meet with this individual. How did the conversation go from there? Was this a on the spot, also present the offer and get the contract, or was this a multiple visit?
So I'm trying. So the front end of the conversation was qualified. I called them first, you know, before I went out there, because I like to re-qualify. I don't know. I mean, I can usually get our spreads a little bit deeper by doing this. There's more reasons than just, you know, there's a lot of factors. And shot at a price. I was like, maybe I'm in the ballpark. I'd love to meet with you anyway, regardless.
Yeah.
Right. Just, I didn't want to talk. He was trying to talk about price, because that was what was important to him, because it wasn't his house. It was mom's house. There was like this, he didn't live there. It wasn't going through this situation. It wasn't. So price was important to him. And so but I didn't want to talk about price. I wanted him to get to know me, you know, like that's what I wanted. Because I think people, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm going to go off on this one. People, we said people do business with people they trust. We've said that. But like, people also they're buying you, not what you are. They're buying you, the person. They're buying Cody. They're buying Brett. They're buying, they're buying you. And they can't do that unless that's why I like face-to-face also, is nobody can sell me better than me. Yeah. If I'm doing it authentically, where I'm real, I'm actually somebody that cares. And I actually have to care. It's not just about, how much money can I make today? I actually want to solve problems. And when it's authentic, people like, that's a drawing feature. So after I did that, he agreed to an appointment, reluctantly though, because he just wanted a price, and he's calling around to all these other wholesalers, mostly investors. And he's calling around, and he didn't want to meet with me for some reason. And I was like, please, I think it's best for both of us. I know you're trying to solve a problem. I'd love to be that solution for you. I would love to meet with you. Do you have a time tomorrow at 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock? Which works better for you? Yeah. And I don't remember the exact time, but I always do that, where I give them 2 times to pick from. They feel like, because he was a driver personality, and he wanted to be in charge. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to give you 2 times to pick from, but he's going to pick one. That way he feels like I chose the time. I chose the date, the more choices he feels empowered that he need. That's what, so I set him up on that already. And I go out, and that's how we went out there. So that's how we set that up. I went out there and met with the guy. Do we want to get into that, or do we need to pause for anything else?
In fact, hold pause right here. Yes, we do want to get to this. There's one question that I want to answer here that's really solid. Awesome content. So thank you. I don't know exactly who it was that said it, just says Facebook user, but we appreciate this already. How do you negotiate when seller wants a formal appraisal instead of checking your comps? Is that something that you deal with often? Here's a real-time story that I can share with you guys that might be of value, that could add it won't be exactly to this, but you can see how it'll work exactly for this. We were out in Lake Powell. This is just a beautiful lake that's about, where it is to go to our houseboat. It's about 6 hours from Salt Lake. And we had our scale event down there. We had about, probably about 15 guests on the boat. And we had like our scale 3-day training, and mixed in obviously with like lake surfing and all that fun stuff. But we're out on the boat, and one of the guests' phone rang, and it was one of the sellers. And he's like, hey, I want to see if you really want to buy my home. And so we killed the boat. We're just sitting there, and I'm listening to the whole thing. He has it on speaker. There's about 10 people on the boat. We're listening to it. And he starts breaking it down. He's like, listen, I need 150, and I need to you to guarantee that you're going to close by the end of the month. And so he kept repeating. This individual kept repeating. He's like, okay, so if I can get you 150, does this sound like a deal? And he's like, well, I still got to run it by my attorney. And here's the thing. He was at 160. The guest on the boat was at 140. And so there was this middle mark, right, of getting up to 150. So it was still a deal at 150, but he's sitting there and I said, and he's like kind of stumbling through. And I said, hold on, tell him you'll call him back and that you got to talk to your business partner. So he's like, hey, let me call you right back. I'm going to talk to my business partner right now. So he hangs up and I said, can I be your business partner? And he's like, yeah. I'm all perfect. I'm going to pick up the phone and call him back. So I call him back and I said, Mr. Seller, here's the thing. I want to make sure I just spoke with my business partner on this. And so I wanted to personally reach out to you and I had fun with him. Right out of the gate, I was like, Mr. Seller, I hate to tell you, you were talking to the wrong person. He's a drag, man. You want to be talking to me. Like we could be the people that go out to dinner afterwards because we're going to be best buds. I said, in all seriousness, here's the thing I want to look at. You're asking if we can do 150. And if we can do that 150, is that something we can move forward on? He says, well, I already told your business partner, I got to run this by my attorney. And I said, so Mr. Seller, help me understand this. In all reality, I can make the paperwork so simple. If you want, I could put it on a napkin that says, we're going to close, we're going to pay you 150, and that we're guaranteeing you we're going to close by the end of the month and we can't back out. It'll be just that simple. Do you feel it's valuable to spend money? Because you've already come down $10,000 and I thank you for that. We're coming up 10,000 because man, this already makes me uncomfortable. 140 is my warm and fuzzy number. So you're getting me up to 150. You're coming down from 160. Do we really want to spend more money on a real estate attorney when I will literally make this 4 bullet points on a piece of paper that's so easy that do we really want to add any more cost to this? And he's like, well, and then I just want to make sure you're actually going to close. I said, here's the thing. You have my word. We're going to close and I'm going to put that in paper. I said, but here's the one thing I'm a little nervous about is I want to know you're as committed to me as I am to you. If I'm going to commit that I'm going to close by the end of the month, I need to know right now that you're serious because this is going to take time. This is going to take effort. This is going to be something I'm going to have to talk to my title company. I'm going to have things going from the moment we hang up. There's going to be invested time into this. And I just don't know if I feel your 100% commitment like I am being with you. And he says, no, you're right. I need to commit. Send over the agreement. Let's get it going. And that was it. That was the difference. So he threw up the flag or the curveball that he wanted to run it by his attorney. But really, in all reality, it was more of he just wanted to make sure we were really bought in, that we really were staying committed and we really were going to close on it. And once he felt that, he's like, you're right. I don't need to run this by my attorney. And it went forward. So when someone's asking appraisal, usually an objection, I'd say not even just usually, 100 times out of 100, if someone brings up an objection, it's because there's an unsolved problem. You haven't solved one of their problems yet. So when someone says, hey, I want to get the appraised value, it's not that they really want the appraised value. It's because there's something that hasn't been said yet on your end that has not, you haven't solved one of their problems. They have an issue that's still outstanding. What's that?
They don't trust you yet.
That's 100%. Or it could be the fact that they're saying they need appraisal when really all they want to know is, I don't know what I owe on my house and I need to figure out how much money I'll be walking away with. But they'll throw it in the form of, hey, I want an appraisal. And it's like, hey, is there a certain number you're looking for? And all of a sudden they're like, well, that's the thing. I don't know how much I owe my property. Bingo. Hey, why don't we do this? I do this all the time. I love helping my clients do this. Let's pull out a mortgage statement real quick. And we'll make a quick phone call. Let's find out, because that also, before I put my time and energy in this, I want to make sure you're walking away with the money you think you're walking away with. So let's pick up the phone real quick and you solve the problem. And then you realize it has nothing to do with the appraisal. It was just another issue out there that wasn't solved yet. So,
or sometimes they're not motivated at all, and they're just trying to see, what their house is worth. So, I mean, that happens too.
That's right. That's 100% right.
Yeah, I mean, what I do sometimes too, and that's, by the way, that was killer. So that everybody should have written down a whole bunch right there, because I'm stealing some of that. By the way, thank you.
This video lasts forever. You guys go back and rewind it and listen to that and rip off and duplicate the whole thing.
No, I was like, dang, that's good right there, man. On those appraisal questions like that, they come in various forms, right? But it's all objection. I'll say something to the effect of it sounds like you don't trust me right now, and that's totally fine. Back to that question again. I do it there. That's where I do it. Is right there. It's hard to do business with somebody you've never met before. It's hard to trust somebody you've never met. And like, yeah. I was like, I know you're saying you need an appraiser or one appraisal, and then just say, why is that? And then just make it because I want to know how much my house is worth. Well, listen, I might not be the best person, for you, and I want to help you get there. What's the purpose of the appraisal? Is it so you can list it, get on the market? What do you need that for? And make them, and that will just make them. If it's just what you were talking about, just why do you know what my mortgage balance is? That'll uncover that right there too. So I do a lot of backing away from it when bring the objection up. I just try to subtly well, it may not be for me. I'm not going to be this. Why do you need it?
Yeah.
But I kind of really like your approach a little bit better. So we might be transitioning.
This is something that we have a very dialed in process. Last year, we were figuring out how do we always turn the needle. If we're going to be working, let's serve as many people as possible. So last year we did about 150 transactions. We did about 3.5 million between the two markets, but we have a specific process we follow, but all of it comes back to these same principles that me and you are sharing tonight. And all of them have the customer minded approach behind it, where you're genuinely serving these people. You're genuinely helping these people, loving these people, and building that relationship with them. It's not about the deal. It's about helping these individuals solve their problems. And the byproduct is you get a home at a discount.
We shifted in our business where we don't call ourselves a real estate or even a wholesale business anymore. We don't call ourselves that. That's not because I think titles sometimes can be silly, but I think they can carry a lot of power. If you're going to call yourself something, because how our society is. Hello, my name is Brett and I'm a real estate investor. Hello, my name is Cody and I'm and people lead with what they think their title is, right? And that's carries weight for some reason. So if you're going to do that anyway, we said, you know what? We're a service business. Yeah. We're in the service business. That's all we are in the service. And once we started operating out of that mindset, the title moving, that'll move for us. It's your words have power. What you call yourself has power. Your name has power. And that's what we just said. You know what? We're a service business and we're going to treat you like that. We're serving.
Killer. That's fantastic. Okay. So let's kind of go back into this deal. You meet with this individual. How long into the conversation were you able to put together actual agreement and get them to sign?
It didn't take real long. So, if you've been on appointments, you know how it goes. When you walk in cold, you've never met them. They're like, well, here's the house. Walk around, look at it, right? And this is a vacant house at it. So there was nothing in it. It was bare, nothing. So I can't go, oh, where did you get that painting from? Oh, where did you get, you can't really point out stuff. It's just you kind of got to go through the motion, so to speak, and walk through the house with them, right? Yeah. And just say little things I'm just trying to generate any kind of something to get them to talk, and then look for the places to build conversation. Yeah. And so it took about 3 or 4 minutes to find something to talk about, right? And we just started talking. For us, it happened to be in our faith. We were able to identify, because I noticed there was something on his car. That's when I was walking up. Oh, I'm going to pick up on that. But if I say it right away, he's going to know that's why I brought it up, right? Yeah. So he kind of subtly worked it in. And then we had some talk. I was and then we spent the next probably 30 minutes talking about it. And I was look, there's no easy way to move forward from it's going to be awkward. Let's say, it's kind of awkward. We got to talk numbers. We got to talk it, and he goes, kind of gives me that look. And I was like, well, you told me you needed to be at this price and I need to be at this price, and I'm waiting to share those exact numbers here in a moment. But that's how we got there. So it took about 30 minutes to do 35 minutes.
Solid thing to write down, guys, is that you're building rapport and you're just connecting for 30 minutes before you ever talk about a deal. That is crucial. This is something we have lived for years. Yeah, for years we have done this. And sellers, they'll speed you up. They'll be like, here's the house. Let's go look at the master bedroom. Hey, let's go look at this. Slow them down. Now, to get creative with a vacant house, I would tie it back to, hey, was this a home you grew up in? And they say, yeah, I grew up my whole life here. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at this backyard right now. That looked like an awesome place to like just hang out with your buds. Is this a backyard that you guys played around in much? And just slow them down and just get to know about their story. So like, was there a lot of friends here? Or did you have to travel far to have friends? No, my best friend was right across the street. Like this house right here that we're looking at right across the street? Really? Is his family still there, or is that not there anymore? Well, no, his parents passed away. What's that? Yeah. Do you think they'll buy it? But yeah, you're just asking questions because you got to slow them down. If you're gonna have fun, we like to have fun with old homes with the old thick shag carpet. This is a real story. My great grandma it was like a purple and gray, and it was thick. It was thick. Where I remember laying down, and I would do like snow angels in it, and it would like maintain the shape of my snow angel. This is how thick this carpet was. But sometimes when I would do it, there was one time I got stabbed by a needle, not like a drug needle, but like a needle like she was sewing. And then the other time I was waving my hands and I found like $2 in like change. And so I remember as a little kid, I'm like, I love this carpet. I find money. So I share that story whenever I see thick shag carpet. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got this story that will probably resonate with you. I'm like, I remember my grandma had carpet like this, and I remember finding $2 in like quarters and nickels and dimes, and I thought I had like scored the lottery when I was a young kid. And they're like, oh my gosh, I remember like losing my blah, blah, blah. And like I was sitting back and something fell out of my pocket and I could never find it again. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was the person that found it. I'm the kid that found stuff like this. And so we would just have fun. And that's how I always have fun with people and just break it down with them.
That's exactly it, man.
Okay, so you talk with them. Ultimately, let's talk price. What did he want? What were you wanting? And where did you get the agreement at?
So this is one that everybody will be able to identify with. Me. What do you want for the house, Cody? You know, what do you want for the house? I don't say it like that. And no, you're the one who came out here. You give me your price, right? Like one of those. You better darn well know that if I'm going to get the price first, it'll be low. Yeah. I think we're frozen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're unfrozen. You're good.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to go low. And I'm like, well, I mean, if you're asking me, I want to pay $1,000 for it. Ha ha ha. Right. You know, and kind of that back laugh at it, you know, and then he will like kind of look at me funny. I was like, well, no, what does it look like for you? You know, because I'm an investor. I need to get the best deal possible here.
Yeah. And
so they're like kind of looking at me sideways. I mean, what kind of ballpark do you think you need to be at? I'm like, and if I still can't get it out of him, so I told him, I was like, look, I need to be at $30,000. That's what I told him. So we need to be at 30 grand on the deal. And that's why I love my market, by the way, because you can buy $30,000 properties here. Yeah, and it's a thing. Yeah, it's like, this is awesome. And so he's like, no, I couldn't. Nope. All right. And he starts to pick up and go. And I was like, well, I mean, you asked me, obviously you had a number in mind. You know, I was like, listen, you know, this is what I do. I'm here to serve you. I'm not trying to like take advantage of you. What number did you have in mind? And he said to me, he goes, well, I got other people coming out here right now that have already offered me $35,000. And I was like, woo, we're getting it. You know, I knew it right there, you know, because I mean, I was good up through, you know, I'm going to tell you all what I sold it for. So I knew I have tons of room, you know what I mean, to work with at that point. And so I was like, I don't know if I can do it. You know, I was like, why are they not here now? And like, well, you called me first and I wanted to, you know, I was like, listen, I can't speak for everybody else, but this is what I do every day. You know, I'm here to serve you. I'm here today. I don't know if they're coming out tomorrow, if they're going to get a flat tire on the way here, if they're going to, you know, run out of gas. I don't know what's going to happen. I was like, but I'm here now. I said, listen, in the same thing as if I know that you wanted 35. I'm going to stretch myself there, but I'm going to cover your closing costs here. Is there anything else that would make it a little bit easier for you if I, maybe, so, well, I'm afraid that something's not going to work out. And I was like, well, what if I put up, a larger down, deposit down on this one? Because the way I do my dispo, my buyer's going to put that in anyway. So like, I already know what I do. So I was like, what if I did this? And he was like, you really mean it then? And I was like, I really mean it. Like, I want this to work, for both of us here. I was like, because this is how I take care of my family. And this is how I feed my family. I know that you want to take care of yours. This is how, and I made it about me being a real person, right? Like, hey, I've got a wife and kids, and this is how I take care of them. And I'm out here right now willing to do this with you. And we are on the same ballpark. Well, I'd like to meet with these other people. And then he hits me again. I still like to meet with these other people. I was like, well, is it just because of it sounds like the price is really throwing you off there. Is that what it is? He goes, yeah, it really kind of is. I was like, how did you come up with your number then? And we just kept him talking. And as he kept talking, he talked himself out of it and just said, you know what, let's just do it. So the trick I used there was just never giving into, because I could have come up to 35, right? I could have easily just done 35 and met them. If I just, you know what, Cody, and I'm also a little bit competitive to myself, and I wanted to beat that 35, by the way. That was just like a little thing in my head. That's for another. That's just a separate thing, right? That's just for me. But I was like, the tactic I used was just how the value that I'm bringing to it. I think it's worth that extra $1,000, right? And I kept him talking about the value that I'm bringing. I kept him talking about it. So, and you understand what value is, And after a while, he finally was like, you know what? Yeah, let's just do it.
That's awesome.
So that's awesome. And then we got it at 34,000.
That's fantastic.
Signed on the spot.
34,000. You get under contract. Then did you do a traditional assignment to a cash buyer? Did you take it down and put it on the market? What did that look like for your exit strategy?
We did a double closing on it.
Okay. So you closed on it and then turned around and sold it to a cash buyer.
So, yes.
Okay.
So we do a simultaneous closing where I don't know if it's frowned upon some places, but my
cash buyers and funds, right?
Exactly. That's exactly how we did it. So the A to B was me, B to C was the investor buyer. So B to C funded A to B. I don't know if I said that too quickly, but that's how that worked. And then they double closed simultaneously. And the beautiful thing is I had no closing costs out of my portion of the A to B side.
Let me find, by the way, hold on. Before you say the number, I got to grab the traditional bell. Hold on one second.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So talk to me.
This is my first real victory bell, Cody.
You put this under contract at 34. What did you ultimately sell it to your cash buyer for, my friend?
You ready?
Let's do it.
$66,000.
66,000, so $32,000 deal. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right, my man. So we've got a $32,000 deal on this one deal. And here's the difference, guys. If you make it about price, it'll always be price. You've got to be able to do the side things that Brett's talked about tonight. Become like that trust. Become the person that they want to do business with. Build that relationship of trust. Build rapport. Be willing to slow things down. Get to know them. Talk to them. And not be afraid or pushed by, well, I've got someone else that's willing to do $35,000. Most people will give up that money and say, well, I'll do $35,000, right? He ended up getting it for 34. So it's 1,000 less, right? 34?
34.
Yeah, 34. So he still gets it 1,000 less. And he's able to make a $32,000 deal on this happen because he was the individual that had the best relationship and he wasn't the best price, guys. That's the best part about this deal. He wasn't the best price, but it's because he never made it about price. He made it about the relationship, and people do business with people they trust, even if they're not the highest offer. And that's the greatest thing you can learn from this message tonight. If you have some questions, still, we're here to answer them for a second. But Brett,
I'll finish. I'll finish with this part though, Cody. That was a probate, remember?
Yep.
So the cool thing is in our state, just different how long a person's has passed away. There's like how long, you can do different types of summary of administration or formal probate. So we were able to get the whole thing done in a 3-week turnaround, and still close it in the normal 3-week period. So it's just putting the pieces together. It still was, we solved the problem of probate, because I told him, I was like, I'm going to do the probate, I'm going to do this, and we still netted that 30 like that because I made my end buyer pay for the probate too. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Guys, there was a question over here that I've got to find again, but basically the question asked, so what's your biggest, and maybe let's end with this, Brett. One more big gold nugget. How do you differentiate yourself from your competition? What's another big nugget, whether it's a repeat of something you said or something in addition that you're like, man, this is another good one?
Yeah. That's the first question we got. I haven't forgotten it yet. So I show up every day, right? Like I show up every day and we answer the phone. If you're calling, we're going to answer the phone. Right. And that was a shift that we made in our business. It's been a little while now, but where a lot of people are sending things to voicemail and then they don't get back to you for another 2 or 3 days. We're answering every call that comes in, and we have an expected turnaround time. If we miss a call, you've got 2 minutes to get them back on the phone.
Love it.
And we have a trigger in our system that if it's not within 2 minutes, I get notified.
Yeah.
And then I call. I'm the fail safe. I'm the business owner. I'm the one that, it falls on me. So we're not letting it go past 2 minutes before we talk to somebody. So the way I differentiate myself is you're not you, Cody, but I'm just in general, my competitions, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
You're not actually showing up every day to serve people every day. And the theme that you preach I know you've heard you say it a million times, Tom, I've heard all you guys preach a million times, is it's not about how good you are, it's about how consistent you are. That's and right. If you can consistently show up and do the right things, the results will happen.
That's right.
You may not have the negotiation chops like Cody has, or whatever. You may not have all those yet, but if you're consistent every day, you don't have to be that good because your competition's not.
Yeah.
And that's the way I separate myself is there's guys that can run circles around me, like they're better looking, they're better, they're negotiating better. They have deeper, they have everything, so to speak. But you know what they're not doing is they're not doing the right things every day, showing up every day. So I separate myself by that. And over time, that creates an authority in a market where I live is where people think like, hey, they're the ones to go to. And that only happened because we showed up every day. Not so if somebody's wanting to look to how do I separate myself, just show up and do it every day.
Love it, guys. My last gold nugget to add to this is, let's see if I can do this screen share real quick. Let's see if it pops up. Hold on, let's see. Let's do this. I need to find. Oh, there it is. Share. All right. Oh, this is going to be tough because it's not on multiple screens. We'll do a stop share. So here's what it is, guys. Here's my value add. Go to Utah. So type this in a Google search. Don't go to the website. Go to just type in Utah, sell, SELL, now. That's our wholesaling business. And over on the right-hand side, you'll see Google reviews. We have 105 Google reviews. This is crucial. We are the highest and most when it comes to reviews, when it comes to people that buy homes. And we do that by design. And so it's how consistent you get those reviews. Because what happens is when people start organically looking like sell my house fast, we pop up first all the time. But it's because we're relevant to Google. We're always getting reviews from every one of the individuals that we do business with. And so that's why you see 105 reviews. And if you look next week, there'll probably be another 5. We're always getting reviews. That is crucial. And that's how you gain that authority status where people want to do business with you because you bring so much value and you bring so much comfort and so much peace saying, okay, they may not be the highest offer, but they buy a lot of homes. I know they're going to take it to the close, and there's comfort behind that. Some of these people don't have time to mess around. It's either they got to figure out who's going to close on their home, because 2 days later they could be losing their home. And sometimes price doesn't mean that much to them as much as knowing this individual is going to close on the property. Like, I have no doubt in my mind, Cody and his team is going to close my property. I get it. It might be $5,000 less, but I can't afford to not close on this property by that date. Otherwise, I lose it and I make $0. So I have to go with Cody. So that's the other thing around it. Get those reviews. It's crucial, crucial, crucial. And it will serve as a very authoritative play where people recognize you as the authority in the market. And it's just something that another contact, another touch. People say it's 5 to 12 times on average, 5 to 12 touches on average for someone to choose to do business with you. That will act as one of those touches. So after you're done talking to someone, send them in a text. Hey, by the way, here's some reviews that are coming from some of our clients, and just boom, that's another touch. Right. On the way out to your appointment, before you get there, hey, on my way out, just thought I'd share this video of a recent customer that did business with us. Boom, that's another touch. So you're finding ways to not only just be the authority of the market, but you're also using it to be another touch, so that when you get there face to face, you've already touched 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, so that the likelihood of them doing business with you on the spot just goes through the roof. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Brett, thank you so much for being here. That's an hour. You're in East Coast, like you're Eastern Standard Time. So you're even later than me. You are what, 8 o'clock, 8:10?
Yeah.
That's late. So I want to thank you, bro, for doing this. That was awesome. I know there's a lot of individuals that got a ton of value. I kept seeing great stuff. I even got like a Brett McCollum, what's up? So there's individuals in here that kept chiming in saying great content, great stuff. So I want to thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here. Any final parting words that you want to say?
Well, obviously, I want to thank you. Thank Tom for you guys at Wholesaling Inc. Man, you changed my life, my family's life, my whole future. I have no words for that, man. Yeah, I just want to, every time I get a chance to, I'm humbled to be here. So I appreciate that more than you know. To everybody listening, guys, I'm just not that good. So if I can do it, so can you. You know, it's just one of those, you just have to, like I said, just do it every day, you know, and set healthy. Here's the other thing too. This is important. We talked about this before, Cody, you and I, in the past. Set some healthy boundaries with your family, because at the end of the day, they're the treasure. That's where, that's where it's at. So if this becomes like an all-consuming, effort to get rich, and you leave them behind you, I see a lot of investors doing that. And I just want to, that's my 2 cents. Like, take it with a grain of salt, if you will. But like, to me, that's the most important thing you're going to carry with you. So keep a healthy boundary, so that I want my kids to grow up knowing that daddy was around, and that he loved them first before. I want them to know I love them more than I love my business. So true. So true.
Yeah. I love that, man. To go just side by side with that. My definition of success was that my family would see me more than my team or my business would see me. Yeah. It's not a destination. It's not how many dollars are sitting in the bank, but that my family sees me more than my team sees me. So that's what I've always seeked my whole life, that I knew I'd be successful when I could achieve that. And I'm grateful for wholesaling because it has allowed me to do that. Gabriel, just like that. What up, fellas? Great advice. Thanks for being here, Gabriel. Thank you guys, everyone, for being here. And if you guys need help in building out your wholesaling business, it's not as hard as you think. If I can do it, you can do it. If Brett can do it, you can do it. Guys, we're here living proof saying you guys can do this. And if you need help, head on over to, and I'll put this banner, and it's just simple as goref.com. Goref.com, guys, here's the cool thing. We just introduced this to the world just a couple weeks ago. So if you haven't heard about it, now's a chance. And that is every one of our coaching programs: wholesaling, cold calling, driving for dollars, and then trainings that are in there, and then ongoing all the trainings that we're still consistently adding to this, all of that's all on one platform for $297 a month. So you get access to everything we have for $297 a month. It is like the deal of all deals, but it's so that we can serve more people at a higher level. You're going to absolutely love it. So if you need help, head on over to goref.com so that you can learn more about this, but ultimately get you in the game in 2021. This is still an incredible market for this. We're all doing deals here, and I'm here to lead and guide you and walk beside you. So Brett, again, thank you so much, brother. Have a blessed evening. Enjoy your cute family, and keep killing it out there, my man.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Take care.
Thanks.